Hey, what's up guys? My name is Moda and welcome back to the Mining Stacker YouTube channel. Today's video, we're going to talk about this crazy market. BTC is at a new all-time high, just hit 123,000 not too long ago. We're going to talk about where we think we're at in the market. In my opinion, boys, it is time. I think we are here. These next 4 months can be way more important than these past 4 years. Okay, it is time to really look at things. We're going to talk about what to kind of look for, how I'm playing the market, and why these next 4 months are going to be pivotal. There's a lot of things going on actually these next 2 months that can just kind of extend things. But we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how we're playing this, what we're doing, what we're looking at. Going to be all over the place. If that sounds good, guys, stay tuned. Let's get right to this thing. So, BTC, crazy run up these past few days, did hit a peak of about 123. Ultimately, it is dipping down a little bit. Honestly, down to 116, not that big of a deal. Number-wise, it sounds like a lot, 7K, but percentage-wise, it's not a ton. And as its market cap and price goes up, again, these moves are going to feel like they're a lot because, again, we've been literally eyeing like every $1,000. It's been a big deal. Now it's gotten to a point where it's pretty nuts, right? So depending on your viewpoint, like, it's hard to say where we go from here, or is this going to be the final trajectory? Because again, keep in mind that people are going to look at charts. It doesn't always go straight up. It's when you zoom into these things, obviously if you look back at the 2021 run, it kind of looks like it at certain times. But there's a lot of peaks and valleys. There's a lot of ups and downs. But overall, the trajectory has been what? It has been up, right? If we look at the bottom here back in November, December 2022, and we look at where we're at now, it's been pretty dramatic, right? At this point, timeline-wise, this is about where we should be. Obviously, everybody's going to have different viewpoints on where you think the peak's going to be. I'm very conservative. My number all along has been between 130 to 140. Is it probably going to hit higher than that? Honestly, it seems that way. Hard to really say how we really progress from here, right? BTC has been extremely dominant, more so than past cycles recently, and we honestly didn't think it'd be like this. But here we go, because a lot of the alts have been struggling. Okay, so BTC overall doing extremely well now, right? So this is the part, though, where things can start to kind of flip for the alts, and this is kind of where the expectation is. And like I've mentioned before, I don't really necessarily believe in like a full-blown altcoin season. I believe in there's going to be a time and a window, which is now, right? If you guys remember the previous goals video we did, this is the time frame we're kind of expecting, pretty much July, mid-July till mid-November. That is the time frame where, in my opinion, kind of anything can happen at this point. Okay, you're going to have to come up with your own strategy, your own viewpoint. Me personally, based on what's happened in the past, looking at different coins, looking at the coins I'm into, these are the times where it can happen. Okay, and as we've seen in the past, like yes, certain coins did peak with Bitcoin in that November run. Not all of them. Okay, everybody has this freaking thing in their mind that we're going to have 1 week to offload everything. A lot of coins peaked at different times. A lot of it's going to be narratives, it's rotations of capital. We've seen it, right? If you guys were here last bull market cycle, we saw it. This whole bear market, we've seen it also. There's been different times, like every quarter. It's been a different theme where those few coins pumping and then people rotate those profits into the next thing. The one kind of constant it feels like is the memes. It feels like some narrative pops off, people take profits, it goes into a meme. A different narrative pops off, it goes there, then take profits and goes into a different meme. Right? So I think that's why a lot of the memes have kind of consistently been pumping, and it's because it's just the easy rotation of capital into them. Okay, is that going to continue? I mean, it's hard to say at this point, right? But again, as we look at BTC, it's been doing amazingly well. For me, the one that is going to be more important, though, is going to be ETH, right? This is a coin I don't really talk about. I don't care for it. Unfortunately, a lot of you guys did hang on to this thing, and there was a lot of opportunity cost by doing so. A lot of alts did run way more. BTC, as a matter of fact, ran way harder, yet a lot of people just stuck with their ETH this whole time, right? During this whole down phase down here. I personally went in Solana. For me, that was an excellent choice to dump all my ETH back right after the merge. Super happy I did. And it sucks for a lot of people who held this thing, right? So it does look like it is going to do well, though. This is not to kind of shit on them. It's just I'm not a fan of the adoption rate, right? So as far as like use case and potential, that doesn't mean it's not going to go, though, right? Realistically, in my opinion, the way this altcoin cycle may potentially work, we've seen all the things going on with BTC, right? This market has been significantly different because of what? People are likely going to be holding their BTC even after this bull market. We have all these strategic reserves, all these treasury companies that are probably going to be holding. Not all of them. We know some of them are going to capitulate, but I think this time more so than ever, the faith long term has increased dramatically. Okay, so I don't necessarily think that we're going to see a rotation of BTC into alts as aggressive as we've seen in the past. It's going to happen. It's not BTC dominance isn't going to go up forever. It is going to go to a certain point, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to bleed off into alts. There's a potential that it, kind of goes up and down a bit, but overall continues to chug up. And a lot of the alts just continue to go along with it, right? I don't think we're going to be, because currently we're at about like 64%. I don't necessarily see us going down to like 30, 40% like we have in the past. Going to go down to 50%, 55, maybe a slow bleed. Realistically, I think the bigger catalyst is going to be ETH. Like me personally, what I'm watching is ETH starting to go up, ETH going to 5, 6, maybe 7K, maybe even beyond that, and then people taking profits from there, and that being the rotation of capital, people going from ETH into these other smaller cap alts. Okay, for me, that's personally the way I'm seeing it. Kind of makes sense with how hard Ethereum is being pushed and shielded right now to the max. Okay, not only on retail level, on like crypto Twitter, MSNBC, everybody's super pushing ETH. Honestly, for me, it's for that reason, right? A lot of people are bag holding ETH. They want to rotate out because the news is there. And I think that's going to be what I follow more so than anything. So ideally, what I want to see is ETH do its run. Once the sell-off of ETH happens, if it happens, again, we don't know. This is just theoretical. This may or may not happen. This is just something I'm watching. It's one of the many, many different things I'm watching to kind of get a hint as to where we're at in the market, right? But for me, that's why I've mentioned ETH, although I'm not a holder, I don't care for it. It's a very important altcoin if we want our altcoins to eventually pump, okay? So that's kind of one of the big trigger points for me. Another thing to keep your eye on is just the timing a lot of these things, right? So for me, Solana is a big one, but I mean, it's had one hell of a bull market already, in my opinion. A lot of people aren't convinced, like, oh, it's going down. But again, look at where we were in November 2022 to where we're at now. Freaking $13 to $160, right? And if we look at the previous all-time highs, we can see it's already surpassed that. Will it go beyond that? Like, is there still upside here? Sure, but I don't think it's going to be something where you're going to have a lot of multiples here. Realistically, like my target for Sol is like $400 to $500. Can it go well beyond that? Of course, right? But again, that's kind of where I'm targeting, just because it already has ran a ton, right? So we're gonna have to see kind of where we go from here. One thing I want to focus on is, again, kind of keep in line with what we're saying, is that not all of them are going to peak at the same time, right? So some of them did, like Sol was one of those. It peaked November 6th. ETH, previous cycle, November 14th. BTC peaked November 15th, all within that same time frame, right? So quite a few of them did peak around that time. Not all of them, though. And this is why to me, it's going to be like different sectors if they have a reason, whether it's DeFi, DePIN, layer ones, whatever that narrative at the time is going to be, that's what's going to kind of pump. AI, just different things, right? So a good example is like Cardano. That is a big one. If we look at the previous cycle, it did not peak with the other coins. The initial spring run up, it did have a nice little peak there, but as far as its actual peak, it was much earlier. Okay, this thing actually peaked September 1st. This one did not peak with the other ones. Okay, if we look down, as a matter of fact, by the time that the run up did happen, it was just on its downtrend already. Okay, so keep in mind, if you're kind of waiting for your altcoin for that time, it's just you gotta kind of be ready. You gotta be paying attention to the market. Like, what is the hype? What is going on? Like, for example, right now it's all ETH. Stable coins are a big thing, and that's a big part of the reason that there's so much hype with ETH right now, because of the hype with stable coins, which the majority are where? They're on ETH. Okay. Another one, this is a fan favorite, is Dogecoin. Dogecoin also did not peak with the rest of the market in November. Their peak, same as Cardano, was in the spring. Their peak was in May. If we go to November, things were drastically different, right? Freaking peaked at what, over right around 70 cents. By the time November, let's go to November 7th, it was at 26 cents. Okay, it was well on its downtrend by then. Okay, is that going to happen again? I mean, we did have a pretty crazy run up. I honestly think it is going to have another run up. Will it go much more beyond what it ran up already? Hard to say, right? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I do feel it is going to have another run up. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But again, for me, I've had a lot of people ask, oh, why don't you talk about Doge? And I'm bullish on Doge and Litecoin mining, not Dogecoin itself. For me, honestly, even for it to do a 3x from here is kind of asking a lot. For me, there's a lot of other alts, literally almost any other alt I'd rather be in, other than Doge, just because of what's going on, how big of a coin it is, how highly inflationary it is. Not too big there, right? But again, I am big on Doge and Litecoin mining, just not Dogecoin itself, right? Realistically, I'd be mining and going into something else. But just again, keep in mind with that narrative that not everything's going to peak at the same time. Let's look at Near Protocol, another one that did peak at a different time. Their peak was actually after everybody's, right? They actually peaked in January 2022 is when they hit 20 bucks. If we go back to the November timeframe, they were about half of that. Okay, so again, it's going to be catalysts. There's different things going on. You got to look at the market as a whole. Okay, and that's not to say all of them. A lot of the good chunk of the bigger coins will just peak with the other ones, right? A lot of the VC coins, coins that are manipulated, coins that want to have that run up, they will, right? AVAX did hit 130. Helium was another one that did peak around the same time also. It was November 9th, 15th, 12th, 17th, somewhere around that time frame. A lot of them did do that, right? Cadena is another example. And this is one, I get it, a lot of people are down on. They're like, oh man, it didn't do anything until that peak. Kind of not true though, right? I know this looks tiny because of how much it ran up. But if we look at what it did during the cycle, I mean, the beginning of 2021, this thing was around 13 to 15 cents. Okay, at certain points, like April 2021 in the spring, it hit pretty much a 10x at that point. And even going beyond that, right? Like this thing really didn't run again because it hit, what, $1.50, went all the way down to 33 cents. Kind of familiar to what's going on right now. I mean, if you look at it, it's damn near identical, right? Not too much of a difference between what happened then and now. The bulk of the run-up wasn't until right at around the peak, right? Started pretty much in September, started running up. Again, it was down 33 cents in the summer, went up to 78 cents in August. Come September 11th, $1.61. Keep going, mid-October, $2.84. End of October, $7. November 8th, 15 bucks. And not too long after, freaking 25 bucks. Okay, so I get it. A lot of people are pissed. Like, oh, there's no more alt season. And people are pissed of where the price action is. I don't know why you were expecting anything different with a lot of these high-risk alts. Any of these, like, lower mid-cap and high and low market cap altcoins, the cycle's kind of doing what it's done. And a lot of people have given up, like, oh, man, it was a dud. We don't know until BTC peaks, until this happens. A lot of these smaller market cap coins, it wasn't until this happened that things actually progressed. Okay, so I get people's kind of gripes with everything, but I mean, this is what we were fully expecting, or at least what I was expecting based off of what's happened previously. I mean, this chart is almost an exaggerated example, but the majority of them look extremely similar to this, right? They didn't really have a true run-up until this time. There were ups and downs, though. There were good profit-taking opportunities, as there were these past 3 years. But realistically, we can't really say it was a dud until we have BTC's peak. then we can truly evaluate, right? So another one that a lot of people are grabbing with is like a lithium. Kind of view it the same thing. We gotta wait until this thing peaks out to really see if it was worthwhile mining that thing. I get it. A lot of people are griping like, oh, I'm switching on to BTC now. To me, honestly, this is the worst time to be doing that. Because why? We're at the point where we're going to start rotating the capital. If anything, the time to do that was the bear market. We've seen that over and over. The time to be doing those swaps was back here, mining to BTC if you want to do that, right? My play was always a degen play for this specific use case. But if you're a person who's trying to mine for profit, then there was different plays there. Again, you have to come up with your game plan to see what makes sense. A lot of people are bitching and moaning about where we're at, but it's literally repeating the exact same thing. Whether or not this part repeats is going to have to remain to be seen. And as we've seen, it's not every coin that does that. People keep blaming all these meme coins. Man, there's 20 million meme coins now. There's no way it's going to split. It's never been the case. Okay, people keep making that argument. Or the other argument is, oh, we need retail to come in to pump our mining coins. That's also not the case. Little Timmy or little newbie isn't going to go on these piece of shit exchanges and buy Cadena or buy Alephium or buy Zealous or buy Ergo. It's not retail who drives those coins. It's us. It's the degen side who does that. It is market makers. It is ASIC manufacturers. It's these GPU mining whales. That's who pumps it. It is not retail. Retail does not come in and buy freaking number 300 coins on these shitty little exchanges that keep going down and down, like Zegix, etc., etc. It is us. Okay, so I don't believe in that thesis either. Okay, so does that mean all those coins will pump? Does that mean it will even happen again? Not necessarily. A lot of those mining whales aren't here anymore. They sold off this cycle. So there may not be. We do know that there still are the FPGA farms. There still are mining farms. People out of the country, especially out of the US, who have extremely cheap electric. So some of them will. Will all of them? I doubt it, right? It's hard to tell though, right? Because realistically, market makers are going to have a hell of a time when a coin like Radiant only has like a $2 or $3 million market cap. It doesn't take much liquidity to pump the hell out of that thing, right? So kind of have to come up with your own thesis and what you're looking at, what you're evaluating. But to me, as far as a lot of the alts, it's kind of the same thing, right? It may be more limited this time though, because again, there has to be somebody to pump the thing. There has to be an incentive for it to pump. In the past with the GPU coins, we had a lot of GPU whales. We had a lot of industries, these companies, these mining companies, as we've seen, right? We've seen the exaggerated dumpage of like the CMP 170HXs. Where do you think they came from? They came from those farms that just completely quit now. They're not mining anymore. They have their bags, and I'm sure they're going to dump them eventually. But a lot of them have capitulated, right? So just kind of keep these things in mind when you're dumping your altcoin that you've been holding this whole time and it's down like 95%, and you're dumping it for BTC right before potentially we may have the flip, right? So just keep those things in mind. I mean, you do you at the end of the day. Again, I have my Bitcoin separately from all of this portfolio. That's DCAing no matter what. That's been doing extremely well. But understand your plan, right? Plan these things out. Think about them. Look at what you're here for. Like for me, I'm made it loud and clear. I'm here for the degen factor. I'm here for this possibility. Even if it's only like a 30% possibility of this happening, that's a bet I'm willing to take all freaking day long, right? Which in reality, that bet has already paid off. Even if a lot of these do end up being duds, just Caspa and Solana alone, I'm extremely happy with what they've done already. Even if this is the peak, even if I sell right here and this is it, we've done extremely well, right? So again, it's perspective, it's timing, it's placing those bets, right? That's what we look at. Probabilities. It's all a game of probability. Which one has the most reasoning for it to pump? Market makers, ASIC manufacturers, those are the types of things I look for, right? To each your own on that stuff, but that's just kind of the mindset with it, right? And why I still think there will be an altcoin season, but it's not going to be this like November 1 week run, right? I think realistically it's going to be timing. Look at those rotations of capital, look at what's going on, closely follow those coins, and start preparing. Like, I've fully unstaked everything. Like, everything is liquid. I've tested all my exchanges. I'm KYC'd on multiple exchanges. Make sure you do all of those things, right? Crypto.com, Kraken, Coinbase. Be KYC'd, get ready in case one goes down. Like, just have all that stuff ready, right? That's how I'm playing it at this point. So enough of that. Let's go on to why we think these next few months are super important. There's a lot of events going on that are going to have pretty big effects, okay? Number one that we've all been waiting for is potential Fed rate cuts, right? So right now, our best shot is September, okay? The July, and all people are saying maybe July. The market is fully disagreeing. It's at 97% no. Things can change though, right? Depending on what happens, depending on the inflation data. But currently, people are placing their bets for September. September is where the probability is on our side. So it's, 55.7 total percent that we are going to get a rate cut. We'll see. Well, we do know if that does happen, that will be a huge catalyst, not only for cryptos, just overall markets, right? It's definitely going to be a big thing. This can definitely be a huge catalyst. And again, it's all timing, okay? So this is September 17th. This is mid-September. Pretty big deal. Another big thing going on is potential for regulation. Okay, we do know this week is crypto week. They are going to be talking about a lot of bills going on. Currently, the big ones is the Genius Act, Clarity Act, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act, as well as just discussing policy. There's a lot of big players in DC holding summits that whole week. Coinbase, Solana Foundation, a lot of big people are there to discuss policy, right? So this is what's currently being planned. I'm sure they're going to discuss other things. We can get more clarity on tax policies. Maybe we get a glimpse of a SBR. Who knows? But this is an extremely bullish catalyst. We know that Trump and Trump's cabinet has essentially said they want to have all these things pretty much done, wrapped, signed, sealed, delivered by late August. Okay, so again, within that time frame. Let's go down the list. Another one that's coming up are potential ETFs for a lot of these alts, and the final SEC deadline is when for a lot of these. Okay, it's October, November. Again, all within these next 3 to 4 months. That's when the final SEC deadline is. Will it wait all the way to the end? Maybe, maybe not. Potentially it can be earlier. Maybe it can be late September. Maybe it can be early October. Again, these huge catalysts, these huge things that we're speculating on happening are huge, right? A big part of our market, 95% of crypto is all speculation and speculation on something going on. Okay, the market will price a lot of these things in, potentially prior to it, just depending on the outlook. But again, them kind of fast tracking this does make me think like it can happen a little bit sooner. Again, if it were to happen around the end of September, extremely bullish. Okay, another big thing is here in a couple of weeks with the tariff deadline, which that's if he doesn't push it back yet again. But as of right now, a lot of these tariff rates will be locked in by August 1st. And hopefully this will eliminate a lot of the tariff FUD, which although things have been going on these past few days, hasn't really affected things, which is also a good sign that the market has priced in a lot of these things anyway. Okay, but it's yet more clarity there. So again, just this and a lot of other little things. A lot of projects are going to have their TGE around this time. Solana, for example, has a huge catalyst with their Solana Seeker phone starting to ship August 4th. Again, that was a huge catalyst last time. A lot of big things, bros, these next few months. So just kind of keep your eyes open. Okay, one big thing to focus on. Again, we're always looking at different signs, different indicators to kind of tell us where we're at. Okay, and like right now, for example, things are kind of changing. Okay, so crypto market cap as a whole is one big thing I look at. Look at where we're at. We're at about 3.7 right now. If we go back in time to that December run up, we're right around in that same time frame, and things are just getting even more bullish right now. Okay, another big thing to watch is Bitcoin dominance, which guess what? Has been ticking down a tiny bit, right? It's down to 63.2. The big one is ETH hitting double digits for the first time in a long time. It's now at 10%. Another big thing you want to watch are ETF inflows. Okay, if you look at this past month, there's only been one day where we had pretty much outflows. Another big difference when we're talking about ETH is this blue line here. Look at what's happened ultimately these past few weeks in comparison to what's happened this past month. Been a pretty big difference. Okay, so again, there's a lot of different metrics. There's a lot of different things we're looking at, but when we're starting to get a lot of signs from the market, from policy coming in, from the timing of the cycle, M2 money supply, which is the thing we've been watching for the past year, the overall market cycles, the overall liquidity cycles, a lot of things are lining up these next 3 to 4 months. Okay, so regardless, maybe this is only a short-term run-up. Maybe we do have a run for a month or two and then we have a downtrend. That's also possible. Or it's also possible this may be the actual run-up. Okay, I'm preparing for it. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I have my numbers in place. I'm ready for it, right? So look at different things, and then you kind of even giving more credence to this. Why I think ETH will be where the capital rotates is there's a lot of big ETH bag holders, right? As bullish as we are on Solana, Solana is still nowhere near the TVL of ETH. Okay, if we look at the total TVL for Sol, as of right now, 9.15 billion. Very impressive number. The stablecoin market cap, 11 billion. Now let's look at ETH, which still hasn't really ran, still doesn't really have a whole lot of activity. Look at how much total value is locked in DeFi. 72 billion. Okay? 9 billion to 72, an 8x difference. The other massive difference, and again, why there's a lot of bullishness with ETH, is because a lot of this hype was stable coins. Solana, their stablecoin market cap, 11 billion. ETH is 126 billion. Massive difference, right? And this is with Sol kind of going on a crazy run with use case, DeFi, everything. ETH still hasn't ran, and look at the advantage it has on it already. Right, so chances are it will run up, but I think there are a lot of long-term ETH bag holders that are kind of seeing the sign that most likely things will rotate. So for me, I do think ETH will have a nice little run here potentially, but if there are profit taking going on, that's going to be the rotation. People taking profit, going out of ETH, going into Solar AVAX, going into NEAR, going just down the line. Right? For me, this is going to be a big one. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't, right? We have seen that there are treasury companies now, even with freaking Ethereum, and we're starting to see that rotation. We're starting to kind of see it, right? I know a lot of people aren't really too big on it, but it's happening. Even right now, if you look on chain, there was this recent BTC whale that got a lot of hype because he had freaking 80,000 BTC. They just sold to Galaxy Digital. Okay, this was a Bitcoin OG. This was an ancient wallet that hadn't moved. It got a lot of people's attention because it started moving. And guess what? He sold a big chunk, right? The Bitcoin OG with 80,000 BTC, 9.46 billion, has transferred 40,000 to Galaxy Digital. Most likely it was an OTC purchase. Galaxy Digital has directly deposited 6,000 BTC into Binance and Bybit. Okay, so this is going to be a turning point, right? There are going to be a lot of these Bitcoin whales who are unhappy with where it's going. Maybe they're thinking it's peaking. Maybe they're kind of giving into Wall Street a little bit. They're tired of the ethos that's changing. It's hard to say. But when we see things like this, it's definitely a standout. Okay. Another big one, we're even seeing it from some of these mining companies, right? This is kind of an intriguing one. Another BTC mining firm moves into Ethereum Reserve, hailing ETH as digital gold. Bitcoin mining firm BTC Digital has moved $1 million of company cash into Ether, which is called its new digital gold. BTC Digital is the second publicly traded Bitcoin miner turning into an ETH treasury. Earlier this month, Bit Digital shifted its entire treasury from BTC to ETH as it moved to a staking strategy. Okay, so we're kind of even seeing it on this front. Okay, so again, is this the beginning of the big run? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to prepare for it either way. Again, maybe this is just a mini pump. Maybe we go up, alts do well, but then we kind of correct, and then it just extends. Maybe it doesn't peak until the expected October, November. Maybe it peaks before then. Again, there's a lot of crap going on in September. We know that the market tends to peak when there's a ton of speculation. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's not till Q1 2026, which is a lot of expectations, right? People realistically, the catalyst there, and I think what a lot of people are saying even that remark is when Jerome Powell is out, when Trump essentially puts his guy in and we're seeing aggressive cuts, that's going to be a big catalyst, right? It's just a lot of things going on, a lot of things to monitor. I'm not fully sold on anything. It's just, again, these are all different data points I'm looking at. I'm looking for confluence eventually, like, okay, maybe this looks good. Timing is here. Total market cap is here where I'm predicting. Pricing here is good. Let's start selling some, right? Again, have your plan in place. Have things liquid. Things can go crazy. As we've seen before, like Cardano was a good example. It peaked in September. It peaked well before a lot of these others. Okay, the run started leading all the way into August, which, look where we're at right now. Look at where the market's at. Look at where the sentiment is at. Look at where hype's at. I get it. People are bitching about, oh, but we need retail. Like we've said for these past 2 years, this is an institutional bull run. Retail, in reality, all they do is they purchase these top few coins anyway. They're not purchasing, again, a lot of these degen altcoins. They're purchasing whatever the top coins are on Robinhood, and then what's going to happen this cycle is they're going to purchase a lot of these meme coins even more so than ever, right? Especially because now it's so easy to purchase these things through a lot of the wallets, through like Phantom Wallet or even Base with their wallet. A lot of those Base memes, that's where a lot of the retail is going to go. It's not going to go into a lot of these like top 50, top 100, or anything out of the top 100 altcoins. That's going to be us, essentially. It's going to be market makers. It's going to be ASIC manufacturers. It's going to be these VCs. Those are the guys pumping those coins. Again, retail is going to be the meme coins. It's going to be your Solanas, your XRPs, your Ethereum. That's what retail is going to affect. Okay, so that's just my viewpoint on it. Could be completely wrong. So far, we've had a pretty good track record, though. Again, for me, profit is profit. I'm already know I'm not going to hit the actual top. That's not the goal here. If I could, obviously we would. But again, because we got in early, it's a lot easier for us, right? If you were buying Solana at $10, it's pretty easy to be happy even if you dump all of it at $300, $350 versus somebody who's DCAing at $150 or $120. They're going to try to hold off as long as they can, hoping that they get maybe a $600, maybe a $700, and maybe they never get it, and they end up just round tripping this thing because everybody on crypto Twitter is like, oh, we got to wait until 200,000 BTC in April of 2026. Can happen, but understand that was the mindset last cycle. When you guys were here, what was the sentiment? 100,000 BTC, 100,000 BTC, all over the place. This is the last bear market. There's no more bear markets. Similar to what we're hearing now, right? And this is like the mindfuck of everything. This is why you got to plan for everything, prepare for everything, look at different things, and come up with your own viewpoint. This is the thing, is that nobody really knows what's going to happen here, right? All that's going to happen is that it's up to you to decide when you're going to take profit, how you're going to profit, how you're going to play this thing. Okay? Something to think about. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys think? Do you guys see something similar? Are you guys seeing this extended cycle thing? Are you guys really buying into the 2026 thing? Do you think it's going to peak out typically sometime between now and November? Let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Please comment, like, and subscribe, guys. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I am out.